Right now, Pittsburgh's best sports show is about to begin. Call us or tweet us. We've got things to talk about on the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call.
All right, thanks a lot, Jess, and thank you for tuning into the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call. I'm Rich Walsh. I'll be joined by Chris Muller in a matter of moments over to 93.7 The Fan Cam. And we definitely have a lot to talk about. 412-575-2600 on the hotline here, the Nightly Sports Call hotline now. We can talk a little bit about Pitt. Also, we're going to obviously talk about Arthur Smith and continue that conversation. And Mike Tomlin seen talking to Bo Nix over in Mobile, Alabama. What if he slips to the second round, Chris? What do you think?
I would, I mean, it's like one of those deals, right? If he's their guy.
Yeah. There's no way they're drafting a quarterback in the first round, right? That's not happening.
No, I mean, unless they have somebody rated so highly that they say we can't pass him up, you never say never. If Bo Nix is there in the second round, I think there's a lot of people that even though he sort of has a similar profile to Kenny Pickett in that he's been in college for like 25 years. He's had much better overall run of it in college. But I take very little from this. I think this is much more easily explained by Mike Tomlin just being a guy who absolutely loves this process. He loves ball. He loves meeting ball players. I would say far more likely that if they take a quarterback, it's in rounds like probably 3, 4, or 5, with my emphasis there being on 4 or 5. A guy to watch just because I like the physical gifts. And a couple years ago, Richie, this guy people said was going to be maybe the first quarterback off the board, had #1 overall pick potential, and then kind of fell on some rocky times. Spencer Rattler at South Carolina.
Yeah.
A guy who can make every throw, a guy who really did have that kind of pedigree. If he's there like on early day 3, I think you at least consider it if you're the Steelers, maybe late in day 2.
They talked to the Florida State guy, too. Potentially that could be like a 6th, 7th rounder, maybe a free agent. I don't know. I guess it depends on his injury. You got him, Washington State, Penix. I don't know where he goes. But maybe he's another guy you look at in, the 3rd round if he's there, 4th round. I think that would be the wheelhouse.
Penix will not be.
You don't think?
Penix will not be there in the 3rd or 4th round. He might last to the mid-2nd, but that would be you know what happens though, Richie, right? With quarterbacks.
No, they go to run.
Happens every year.
Yeah,
Well, they go on a run. Here's what's going to happen. Bo Nix right now, I think people are like rational. They're talking about him and Penix and those guys being in sort of a bucket. Late 1st, early 2nd. They'll always be like the 33rd to 45th overall prospect. By the time we get to draft week, it'll be, is Michael Penix going to jump all the way into the top 10?
Yeah.
That's what happens in most years when I think a lot of teams talk themselves into these guys, and that's what makes Kenny Pickett's draft year such an outlier. Nobody, had the Steelers not taken him, I don't think anybody takes him in the 1st round. I wonder how long it takes him to go in the 2nd round. It's one of the only years I can remember where no quarterbacks were thought of highly enough that teams started to cheat up to try to get them.
And I wonder if he would still be the first quarterback off the board. That would be the big question there, too, because there was a couple quarterbacks. You didn't know who was 1, 2, Malik Willis, remember? But he looks like a complete bust. Ritter, another guy that went, I think he was 2nd in that draft, right? Didn't Ritter go 2nd?
Yeah, it went
Matt
Pickett,
Corral.
it went Ritter, and then it went Willis and then Matt Corral, and Sam Howell was in
5th
there.
round, I think.
Yeah, I mean, Brock Purdy has obviously turned into being the best quarterback of that class, and then I think the guy that's put up at least some interesting numbers is maybe Sam Howell, but he's thrown about 10,000 interceptions already in his career, so no, it looks like there's one good quarterback from that class, and it happens to be the guy who was Mr. Irrelevant.
All right, we're taking your phone calls tonight, 412-575-2600. We're going to take a break here. Give us a call. Back in a couple minutes. All right, welcome back to the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call. Rich Walsh along with Chris Muller. And Chris, we usually don't talk about WPIAL football here. We touched on Aliquippa moving up to 5A a little bit, but I think it's interesting, and I'm a little fired up about this, and I don't want to call the WPIAL out on this, but the WPIAL Insider, great Twitter account if you like WPIAL football, you follow it, and he tweeted something out today of the conferences for 5A. And what's frustrating? I have kids in the Plum School District, but it's frustrating having to drive 45 minutes to a game. And I don't like the fact that, why don't they keep it geographically? Like, why don't they do that anymore? Like, that's what I don't understand. Why is the WPIAL getting away from that? Put Penn Hills, Woodland Hills, Gateway, Plum, Franklin Regional all together. Put all the teams in the north together. Do it east, west, south, north. That's the way it should be done. They're basically eliminating rivalries by doing it this way. I mean, Penn Hills is in a conference with Pine Richland, North Hills, Fox Chapel, Aliquippa, and Shaler, and Woodland Hills. I mean, come on. It just makes zero sense to me, Chris.
Oh, what, Richie? You can't cross a bridge or go over a river to go watch a football game?
No, you
Come
can.
on, man.
You can. And look, I just feel like it eliminates rivalries. I mean, look, you're a Shaler guy, right? You went to Shaler?
No.
Wait, where did?
No.
Where
what are
did
you talking about? I went to North Catholic, and I would have been a North Hills guy had I gone to public school.
I knew you're from the Northdale, but don't you want to play all the schools in the North is what I'm getting at. Like, I'm a Penn Hills guy. I want to see Penn Hills play Plum, Gateway, Woodland Hills, all those other schools that you grew up, the border schools.
I mean, if I had gone to North Hills, I would have wanted to see them play North Allegheny every year, which they did for a long time until North Allegheny got too big and North Hills didn't grow as fast. Yeah, I mean, people like rivalries. I just still can't get over the fact that Aliquippa is going to be playing in 5A. I hope they beat the doors off of every one of those teams they play. No offense, but I really do. I'm going to be rooting for them badly to show everybody up yet again, but this is the other problem, Richie. I think you don't have, those schools. I know you name them. They're all 5A schools. I think sometimes it can be a little bit difficult to get schools that are clustered close together to happen to be the same size. Like, you are going to have to split up and fracture it a little bit. But I'm sure, yes, fans won't be thrilled about the travel
Why?
time.
If they're all in 5A, playing 5A, you're going to end up playing there in the postseason anyways. I mean, I understand they want to try to
clearly
do. They want to make it equal,
television
right?
money. Richie,
Yeah,
it's television money, and they are eliminating.
Yeah.
They are eliminating traditional rivalries for TV money. That PCN money just flows deep, and you've got to eliminate rivalries to do it. I'm very sorry.
All right, let's get out to the phone calls. We got Kirk out in Manor. What's up, Kirk?
Hey guys, how you guys tonight? One quick question: do you think the hiring of Coach Smith, Zosi, is a good decision? Do either of you guys think Pickett is a quarterback of the future?
No, Pickett I don't think is a quarterback of the future. And, Chris, I'm on the fence with this. Look, I understand why they did it. I knew it was going to happen when Art Rooney talked about the personnel on the team, and they want to find someone, their identity, what they do, and they want to run the ball. He was the best fit. He was the best fit in their eyes. And you're not going to want to hire an offensive coordinator that's going to throw the ball all around the field when you don't have the personnel, or you think you don't have the personnel to accommodate that offensive coordinator.
So I don't love the hire. It's not that I don't think Arthur Smith could do a good job. He did one in Tennessee, but he had a Hall of Fame running back and a quarterback at that time who's better than anybody that's currently on this roster or likely will be on this roster. I've said this a bunch, and I just want to consistently remain on message with regards to this hire. The most disappointing thing for me, Richie, is I got the sense from Mike Tomlin especially that they had done some soul searching, or that the season had gone a certain way where they really were taking a hard introspective look at how they did business offensively. He alluded to it, they all did, about like there are other teams around the league. Art Rooney on Monday talked about expanding the coaching staff and said, hey, other teams around the league kind of do it. We have to at least investigate that. Tomlin talked about kind of learning through this process, and we need to score more points. And I took all of that to be a tacit admission that the way they've traditionally liked to do things maybe wasn't good enough. And what did they do? They went out and hired the guy who basically just reinforces all of their favorite time-honored principles. We run the ball, we're ultra-physical, and hopefully the passing game comes along. I saw Kurt Warner break down Arthur Smith's pass trees and kind of his route combos and things that he did in the pass game, and he was very unimpressed. That worries me. And then when I think about their coaching staff, it appears everybody's going to remain in place, Richie. Jerry Dulac reporting that they had already gotten a deal done with Pat Meyer before they even hired Arthur Smith, and that had they not gotten an extension done, now if Jerry's reporting is correct, that means they might have had a chance at Mike Munchak, which is something he alluded to, but they already had a deal done with Meyer. I don't get it, man. I really don't. It feels like a more of the same kind of hire, and I think it puts a definitive ceiling, even in a best-case scenario, on what this team can do.
I think it's all dependent on the quarterback. We saw what Mason Rudolph could do, and Mason Rudolph isn't a top-tier quarterback. Imagine if they had someone good in there. And I don't even know if that's something Kenny Pickett can improve on. You know, a year of hard work, is that going to get you to the next level, Chris? I don't think so.
I'm very tired, actually, of hearing about Kenny Pickett's hard work and intangible qualities. Every great quarterback intangibly has what it takes. Patrick Mahomes is hyper-competitive and has a burning desire to win. Ben Roethlisberger did, even if he didn't have maybe the
Everyone
the
wants to win,
first-in,
Chris. You
last-out
do.
work
I
ethic.
do. Everyone wants to win.
Right. I'm just very tired when Art was asked Monday about Kenny's best qualities, what they like about him and what he needs to work on. All of the what we like about him is all the things that everybody knew about him coming out of the draft. Oh, he's a good kid. He works hard. All the things he had to work on was basically playing football. I'm sick of hearing about that. I am concerned about this offense because even if Arthur Smith gets him on the move on bootlegs and rolls the pocket a lot, which he does, you still at some point, if you're going to run heavy and then go play action off of it, have to have a quarterback who is confident enough to take that snap, make that ball fake, stand tall in the pocket, and make a throw. And Kenny Pickett has by no means shown a consistent ability, and willingness to do that thus far in his career.
All right, let's go to John in South Park. How you doing, John?
Good. Hey, I want to talk about the offensive coordinator and Ron Cook's article. First, congratulations to Ron on his retirement. He had a great career. And I think it's a good hire, honestly. I mean, yeah, he wasn't a good head coach, but he was a good offensive coordinator.
Why isn't, here's my question, Chris, why isn't Arthur Smith on a private island somewhere playing golf 24/7 and drinking margaritas or whatever? What is he doing? Like, he's worth billions.
Well, he loves football. I mean, I respect that the guy wants to work, and I do find it funny that a lot of the analyses so far of Arthur Smith are that he won't take guff from any guys like George Pickens if they get frustrated because he basically doesn't need the job. It's a very weird way to try to praise a guy. He's so rich he doesn't have to put up with this crap, so he'll be a bad cop, a tough guy.
Yeah.
That's not really what I want to hear. Like I said, I think an underwhelming hire that shows that the Steelers, despite saying that this year was different and that they had to crush this hire and hit a home run, really did not try to cast a truly wide net, really didn't challenge themselves with who they were going to hire, and decided to lean into what they think they do well and what they think can still be winning football. You can run a run-heavy offense and be successful in the NFL, but to get over the top, you just absolutely have to have a quarterback who can make a difference in the passing game come playoff time.
You know, speaking of that, I mean, is Ryan Tannehill any better? I mean, would Ryan Tannehill, a lot of people were speculating he would bring him back. Would that guy even push Kenny Pickett? I mean, I don't think so.
Probably not. I mean, at this point, you do wonder. Ryan Tannehill will be 36 before they start playing again next year. You do have to wonder, just has he run out of gas completely? Is he too banged up? When he was at his best, I think he touched a level of quarterback play that I'm very skeptical that Kenny Pickett can ever get to. Top drawer athlete, good arm.
Yeah.
The guy played wide receiver in the Big 12. He's a legit big-time athlete with real size for the position. I could see them bringing in Tyrod Taylor, somebody with a little bit of mobility who's very safe with the football, pretty accurate short ball thrower. Tyrod Taylor is also a very good deep ball thrower, actually. The knock on him is he's a classic backup. He doesn't want to put the ball at risk. I could see something like that. I could see Tannehill. I don't really believe Mason Rudolph has any chance to come back. I don't think they want him back because I think they want Kenny Pickett to have a real chance, Richie, and it'd be very hard to give him one with Mason Rudolph looking over his shoulder.
Well, that's interesting, especially because that locker room is probably divided right now, maybe more so in favor of Mason Rudolph being the starting quarterback than Kenny Pickett. Let's go out to Fred in Uniontown. How you doing, Fred?
Okay. Hey, it's for Mueller. Hey, how do you keep your job on a fan talking the way you do?
Easily.
What kind of
Very
question
easily,
was that? Chris, I like the way you talk. I like your point of views. That's
Quite
why
easily.
you're on the show every Wednesday and Thursday, every week. So I appreciate it. But did you hear Jeff Saturday bring up? I don't know if you had your IFB in and if you were listening to the Sportscast before the nightly sports call, but he basically thinks that Russell Wilson should be here.
I don't think that that's completely out of the question. You can pay him veteran minimum. Wilson had much better stats than maybe Sean Payton treated him. last year. I do think he was better than he, of course, was the year before. Any guy with any kind of a resume, I think, at this point, though, given Kenny Pickett's lack of production in years 1 and 2, and its historically low production in terms of touchdown percentage and everything else for a guy with his number of attempts, that's sort of the problem, Richie. You bring in anybody with any name recognition, any kind of track record in the NFL, it's not going to take long for fans, teammates, everybody to speculate, hey, is so-and-so going to overtake Kenny Pickett? I really think they want the path cleared for him for 1 year to see what he can do. And if he doesn't deliver in a way they're happy with, I think this will be his final year as the starter.
Cliff in Washington. How you doing, Cliff?
Okay. Hey, listen, Art Rooney II said that, he said identity. The identity over here with the Steelers is defense. Why are they holding on to Haywood? He was hurt half the year. He's a big number on.
I mean, I'm sure he's going to. I don't know if he's going to take a salary reduction, but I'm sure he's going to. They're gonna do something to that contract and work it to where they can figure it out. He's the heart and soul of that team and defense.
But Richie, here's more the problem. Like, other than Keanu Benton, if you can somehow guarantee a healthy Cam Hayward for a full season, he's still easily the second best defensive lineman they have behind Benton, who's fast rising. Like, DeMarvin Leal, huge disappointment. Isaiah Loudermilk hasn't worked out the way they thought. They're pretty thin at that position, and I know Mike Tomlin was apparently at the Senior Bowl talking to some defensive linemen who might be depth guys in the draft. So
Larry Ogunjobi, I think, is making more money than he's worth right now.
And Larry's an injury-prone guy, too. I thought Larry Ogunjobi was going to be a great signing, but he had a very down year, and he was banged up.
All right, we got to take a break. Back in a couple minutes. Chris, big win for the Pitt Panthers. Snap a 4-game home losing streak, beating Wake Forest. I still don't think they have a shot at the NCAA tournament this year. They'd have to win their next 10 games, right?
They got to go on a big-time run. Scoring 50 in the second half in this game was a huge part of that, but they really have to stack wins, virtually no margin for error. And I think you can chalk some of that up to growing pains from some of these younger, talented guards that they've had.
Yeah, Bob Carrington was pretty good here tonight. All right, thanks a lot, Chris. We'll see you same time, same place tomorrow, and hopefully we see you guys over on KDK News in a couple minutes.